Welcome to Rising Frequencies, where we'll help you apply esoteric wisdom to your daily life. I'm Andrea Mullaney, and I'm here with Lisa Risingberry. Each week we discuss ways you can help yourself to look inside and perform the inner alchemy that is needed to grow and evolve. Remember who you are and what you came here to do. This week is episode 12, and we're actually recording this on March 11th, Wednesday. And we've actually are on our 12th show.
Wow.
Yes. So
hard to believe.
Yep. Didn't think we'd have that much to talk about. We
no.
keep finding anything.
Didn't think we would even be doing this.
Yes. But this week's show is about infinity, the infinity symbol, and we've called it Secrets of Infinity. And both of us, we had some kind of insights and realizations about the infinity loop. And we did some research, and we actually Lisa wrote a beautiful blog post about it, and I added to it. And yeah, we've come up with some stuff we'd like to talk about in this show. So, would you like to start, Miss Lisa?
Yeah, it's interesting, and I've always had, like most people, an affinity to the infinity loop, and just had a very, very strong connection to it, and just kind of felt that we just didn't have all of the information. Probably because the planet wasn't vibrating at a level that it was, ready for the information. I'm just not sure. But I've always had this feeling, I guess since 2008. 2008 infinity, there you go.
That's right.
And the number 8 is infinity. So, Andrea and I help on Santos's show. We're two of the co-hosts with Ruth. It's Santos's show. And one of his shows, he was talking about the limniscate. Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are. Limniscate. Lemniscate. Limniscate.
Yes. And, he really focused on that a lot. And he was showing pictures of the sideways infinity. And that was the first time I had heard the sideways infinity called limniscate. And it just kept pinging me, and my body was vibrating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just kept getting these inner knowings every time he would say limniscate, and it just drove me crazy. So then in January, I decided, well, I think I started doing research on this before I heard his show, but then after his teaching on this, I couldn't let it go. So I kind of feel I came across some new information, and I know there's nothing new under the sun, but I believe I found something that just isn't written. I can't find it in the ancient texts. And I started doing research, and I'm very big on Gematria and linguistics, with language, and I've learned my Gematria from Marty Leeds. I've been doing it on my own, I guess, probably since 2012, 2013, whenever he started doing videos. And linguistics I got into with Santos, and I've been listening to Santos on the School of Holy Science since day one. As soon as Ruth put up that site, I was there, and I've been, I consider myself a student of Santos's. And so those are two passions of mine: math, Gematria, also the Pythagorean numerology, and linguistics. So I decided to tackle the infinity loop. And so this paper that I wrote, it's about the vertical infinity symbol. The sideways infinity symbol is related to the silver gate of men. And it is taught also that, that you enter the silver gate and you go through, and then on the second loop of the limniscate, is the Golden Gate. The silver gate on the left. I wish I had graphics for this. Oh man, I wish I had graphics right now. But if you picture a sideways infinity symbol, on the left side, that's the silver gate. And it's taught that you come through the silver gate and then you exit through the Golden Gate. Silver gate's Taurus, Golden Gate is Scorpio, so you go through and you exit. If you can picture the zodiac wheel, you would go and leave through Scorpio. And I'm like, yes, that's correct, but there's more. There's a whole half that's missing. It just has to be, because when you look at the number 8, to me that's infinity, because it's standing upright. It hasn't fallen, and Andrea's going to get into that point when she starts talking. So I just dove into my research, and I combined, like I said, Gematria, linguistics, and at the end, some mythology a little bit. I don't really go into the mythology as much as I could, because it gets a kind of complicated with that. So this is my research. I didn't get this from anybody. This is 100% mine, and I can't find this written anywhere. So you're just going to have to kind of bear with me, but the math supports my findings. So what I did is I thought like a child. I had to think like a kid. When you do linguistics and you start to pick pieces of words together, you can't think like an adult. You have to really be in touch with your inner child to really understand the holy science. And it's written in the Bible, children will inherit the kingdom of God. And the kingdom of God is from within. And the reason why is because you have to think outside the box. You have to not be indoctrinated, to not scribble outside the lines and just think like a silly kid. And that's what opens you up to the divine, is your inner child. So, and you could ask Andrea, I have no problem connecting with my inner child. Probably a little too much if you ask some of my friends. So
it's also the inner child is heart-centered, and they haven't been, beaten down and become so left brain mind focused. Children are much more open to their soul understanding, their soul knowledge, than adults are, because their egos haven't really kicked in as much as they have by the time kids grow up.
Yes, and it's so true. And when you look at the vertical and infinity symbol, you have as above, which is the first part, and you have as below, which is the second loop, and they connect in the middle. And now that you brought that up, that's exactly, and we've taught this when we went through the chakras. We have 3 above the heart, that is as above, and then we connect in the heart, which is the middle of the infinity. Then we have 3 below. We have 7, 3 above, 3 below, and then your heart. 6 plus 1 equals 7. So, yeah, maybe that's why, we had to think like kids to kind of figure out some of the secrets of infinity. Maybe. We just had to remember it. So,
exactly.
I looked at the word limnoscate. First, I went into linguistics, and I kept saying limnoscate, and I was looking at the spelling. And you can, in linguistics, kind of reverse some letters to get some clues, because things are reversed here, especially in this reality. Things that are bad are good. Things that are good that are bad. Violence is entertainment. Violence is not supposed to be entertainment. There's all we're just backwards right now here. Not for long, but right now everything is just bass-ackwards, in my opinion. So I kept looking at limnoscate, and I kept saying it really, really slow. And I kept looking at the spelling. And what I came up with, and you're going to laugh, people are just going to laugh, is one gate lets you in, which is the silver gate. One gate lets you out, which is the golden gate. So I kept thinking lemniskate, let in skate. And if you look at L-E-M-N-I, I just reversed the N and the I, and it's lem in skate. Kind of like let me in the gate. When we incarnate here, you come in through that gate. They let you in the lemniscate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I decided to do the gematria for let in gate. And now I have to say that I'm condensing hours, actually days and days of research and linguistics and the math, because I knew it was there and I wasn't going to give up, but I had to put the puzzle pieces in correct. So let in gate, the gematria for that. And for those of you that don't know what gematria is, it's Jewish numerology. Each letter corresponds to numbers, and gematria just gives you an insight to the vibrations of the words and what they mean. And the better you get at it, it's a great tool for research. It just really is. So the gematria for let in gate is 558, which is a fantastic number. If you add all of those numbers together, it is the number 9, which is the number of consciousness in regular numerology, and it's also the upper half of the infinity. Okay, and then I decided to take this a step further, like you do with linguistics. You take a word and you divide it in half, and you cut it into sections to figure out the real meaning. I took 5 plus 5 is 10. That's the number of completion. And then you're left with 8, which is the number of infinity. So that just showed me, okay, now I'm getting somewhere. So I went more into the what is the let out gate. And to me, the let out gate is the upward infinity loop. And it took me a long time with different words, to try to figure out let out gate. It didn't just like, it didn't come to me easy. Like I said, it was days and sleeping on it and having dreams about it and so forth. So the gematria for let in gate is 558. The gematria for let out gate is 885. So it's the same numbers, different combination. So once again, that's, that shows me right there that one gate lets you in, and then the other gate does the reverse, lets you out. So there's the math. So I was like, I'm very, very excited at this point. So I decided to try to figure out what the heck is the name of the vertical infinity loop. There has to be a name for it. The sideways is lemniscate, and when you come in through the lemniscate means adorned with ribbons. And the ribbons that you receive when you come in through the lemniscate, the sideways infinity loop, is your DNA. They're ribbons. So when you come in the sideways lemniscate, you get your DNA, and that's what you use while you're here in your physical incarnation. And we know the numerology for your physical body is 666, and that popped up next in my gematria. So I did the gematria for lemniscate, which is the sideways infinity loop, and I came up with 606 in simple gematria, and in English gematria, the number was 101. So right there, that's huge, because you have, instead of 666, you have 6, you have a 0. A 0 is a circle, and it's a incomplete infinity loop. An infinity loop is just a twisted 0. That's all it is. The Elohim were actually called the twisted ones. Am I correct in that, Andrea? Okay,
Yes. Yep.
and when you twist the 0, you get the infinity loop. Okay, and like I said, then the English gematria for the sideways infinity, the lemniscate, is 101. Um, and I have to go right and tell you, I came up with lemnoscate, let out gate. I did the gematria for the word that I feel is the upwards infinity loop, which is lemnoscate, let me out gate, basically. It equals 666 and 111. So lemnoscate, LEMNO, skate, SGATE, not SACT, but GATE, like a regular gate, equals 666 and 111. So right there, you have the completion of the 606 into the 666, which is the number of our physical body. It's the completion of the number of our physical body. The first 6 is as above. The last 6 is the as below. The middle 6, the second 6, is when the two shall become one. And that's completion. That's what you're here to do. When you merge ego and soul, you are a completed human, and you've graduated, and you are now officially a 666. The 111, I think everyone knows what 1111 is. That means you're awake. You've awakened. So when you graduate and you leave through the golden gate of lemnoscate, which is my word, you are a completed human with 666, and you are fully awakened with 111. Okay? And that alone blew me away. When another background information on infinity loops, you hear a lot of people talking about time loops. Well, the fallen infinity loop, and when you look at it, it just keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. The silver gate just never stopped. People weren't leaving here like they were supposed to. I mean, this is not my information. Anyone who's been reincarnating here over and over and over again, you can say, yes, I've been here forever. And that's because things got screwed up here and time was messed with, and these time loops were altered. And the silver gate, just stayed silver. It never went to gold. It never let anyone out. We just kept going around and around and around and around. And when you look at, if you put the sideways infinity on a piece of paper and you put the vertical infinity right over top of it, you can see with the golden gate now open, once you get to middle, which is your 666, when you are a full human and you've merged ego and soul and it comes to the center, you can exit through the vertical infinity loop, which is the golden gate. The vertical infinity loop is an upward organic path, an organic timeline, and it's an organic ascension path, and you leave through the upward infinity loop, which is the golden gate. So that's my little thing I have to say. And I thought that was just the bee's knees. And I thought that was amazing. I have the gematria was supporting it, the linguistics was supporting it, and after days of and actually I was just doing this for myself. I had no intentions of writing about this. It's just something Andrea and I, we had these inner knowings. It's just we knew this stuff, but you have to prove your stuff. You have to do the research and you have to do the work. You can't just say, "Oh, I think this." Opinion is nothing. You have to back it up with science. It has to be balanced. Inner knowing and your physical experience, that's a balanced thesis. So I thought I was done, and I decided to Google my name, lemnoscate. Of course, I got nothing, zippo. And I was a little disappointed, and I'm like, well, the Golden Gate has not been open. It just recently opened, and we're about to experience the golden energy. We've been in the age of Aquarius, but we haven't really been experiencing it. And I'm not the first writer to write about that. That the Golden Gate is now open, And I was a little disappointed, there's nothing on Lemnoscate. So, again, went into my inner child and I Googled the name, the Gate of Lemnos. And lo and behold, and if you're not sitting down, sit down for this one. There's a book written by Francis Jarman called The Gate of Lemnos. Now, Lemnos is also a city in Greece, and I got a lot of mythology out of that, but that kind of took me down another rabbit hole, and I was like, too much. Let's just stick with the Gate of Lemnos. So this book is about, and I'm going to read it right off the website. The Gate of Lemnos is the entrance to a new world, one of the wonders of the universe. Holy crap. I was just floored. Floored. So I know it's the Lemnos Gate. No one can tell me it's not, because I have the math, I have the linguistics, and here's someone else that's crazy like me that happened to get this information as well, and he wrote a book about it. So the vertical infinity loop is the Gate of Lemnos, and it is the Golden Gate, and that is the gate that we exit from. So that was as far as I took it, and then I called Andrea and was all excited and told her about my findings. And we spent like 3 hours on the phone just going back and forth, finding more and more and more stuff. And it was mostly mythology. And so we kind of left that, and then she went into her own information. And it's fantastic. So I'm going to hand it off to Andrea.
Hello. Yes, I have also felt such a strong affinity or calling, or just an attraction to the infinity symbol. And I actually had a dream where I was shown the infinity symbol, the sideways one, the Lemnos Gate, and it was pushed upwards. And I was told that the sideways infinity symbol is incorrect energy, and that it needed to be standing up to be in the correct energy, that it was like broken or out of whack being sideways, and it was supposed to be standing up. It was supposed to be a figure 8. And so I was like, aha, it's supposed to be upright. The sideways infinity symbol, that's why we keep incarnating over and over and over again here, and it just we haven't been able to get off the cycle of reincarnation. So, and when we figured out, when Lisa did all this research and figured out it was the Golden Gate, I'm like, yes, that makes perfect sense. And so I got some knowings about it, kind of within the human body on the as below level, and Lisa got information on the as above level with the gates. Getting in the incarnation gate is the Lemnos Gate, being adorned with ribbons, gaining your DNA, because it's deoxyribonucleic acid, ribo ribbons. And then when you are finished with Earth School and you've evolved to where you need to be to get out of here, you exit through the Golden Gate. And so anyway, within your own body, the sideways infinity symbol. Okay, imagine it. And most people have heard of the torus, right? The TORUS. It's a sacred geometric symbol, and it when you spin, it looks like a donut. And I realized that sideways infinity loop is a 2D torus. If you spin it, it becomes the torus shape. And that is the shape of the energetic field, the electromagnetic field around the human body. And actually, I have to credit Ashayana Dean. I listened to her speak, or her interview, and this was like 3 or 4 years ago, and she talked about how the energetic field of humans was messed up. She called it taking a bite of the poisoned apple, and that was the toroidal field around the body. It looks like an apple, kind of apple-shaped, she said that that's the poison apple that was talked about in like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. She took a bite of the poisoned apple and fell into a death-like sleep, just like sleeping human beings. We took the veil, we took the poisoned apple. Eve in the Garden of Eden took a bite, took the apple, bit into it, gave it to Adam, and they fell from grace. So it's kind of it's a metaphor, that poison apple, for the toroidal field of the human body, out of whack as it is with the sideways lemniscate. And so I saw the human body with an upright lemniscate infinity loop. And the difference in the way the energy works when you have a sideways infinity symbol and the toroidal, everything moves. Your toroidal field spins and it creates that 3D shape. The thing is, it will eventually burn out. It's not connected to source. It's feeding on your internal energy. Human beings are internally creative with their connection to being part of the earth, basically, are internally creative. However, with that energy field sideways like that, it's not being refed the way it's supposed to be. There's no connection to source above, and it's not properly connected to the earth's core either. However, when you correct that infinity symbol and fix your energetic template, you have the proper infinity symbol, which is going up through your top chakras, through your heart center, and down through your bottom chakras. And when you spin that on the same axis, it elongates, and that top loop goes all the way up to source, to your higher self, and back through your heart center, and it goes all the way down to the core of the earth. And so you have source, like the galactic center ultimately, and the earth's core connected to each other through you. And you are involved with that whole, you are one with source and with the earth. And that's how we were meant to be. That's how it's supposed to be. I had an interesting, not really dream, kind of. As I was resting, I always go into this state, well, I try to. Theta, it's called, when you're just waking from sleep or just about to fall asleep. And your brain waves, you relax into a state. It's almost like meditation. And I had this knowing come over me, that source, and this falls in line with the Elohim, and the word Elohim, its root from Ram, and meaning to twist. Absolutely, the gods twisted reality. Originally, the energy flow was a circle, and there's source as one big circle. And the thing is, this is what I felt. I felt as if I could feel from source's perspective. We're all a part of source, and if you can really tap into it, it's really cool to feel that. And source was in the shape of a circle, except that it couldn't experience itself. It wanted to figure out who it was and what it was here for. And so in order to experience itself, it had to twist. And so then it could overlap. It formed the upright infinity symbol, the figure 8, and it was able to touch itself for the first time. And that is how creation began, a twisting. It also, potentially brought on duality, and it could experience itself. But that is the importance of that infinity symbol. You see, you still, when it's a circle, you have it's eternal, because the circle never stops. Neither does an infinity symbol. Within the infinity symbol, you gain awareness of yourself, if you're source, because you're able to touch yourself and feel yourself, yet you're still eternal, because you continue flowing in that up and down shape.
That
Anyway.
is so beautiful, so eloquently stated. And that's how we have as above, so below. If it
That's
hadn't twisted, there would not be the universal law of the Kabbalion as above, so below. And the whole purpose of the mystery school teachings is to know thyself, as the Oracle of Delphi says, know thyself. And if you can't experience yourself through the infinity loop, you can't know the as above and the as below aspects of yourself, which is ego and soul, spirit, and matter.
exactly. That's what it's all about, experiencing, growing. I mean, yes, Source was sad and lonely and bored and didn't and didn't know what it was.
That's, yeah, yeah.
I know we all want to get back there, but to you really it kind of escaped itself so it could experience itself and grow. And I feel like each loop then twisted again and again and again and again and again, and the far out pieces became separate from source, although they never disconnected. They just twisted so far out into such small pieces that they had to untwist so many times to get back to
Well,
source.
that's the
Just
flower of
far away.
life. That is,
Yeah.
if you read Duranvlo does a beautiful job in his book called The Flower of Life, and he talked to one of his guides was Thoth,
Oh yeah.
and Thoth taught him about how creation and it's funny to hear you explain that. It's exactly how Thoth explained it to Duranvlo, and he wrote it in his book.
Oh
And if you
wow.
look at the flower of life, you can see that. You can see all the infinity symbols and how they all separate and make all the sacred geometry of the entire planet is in the flower of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just an effort to experience, and then that piece wanted to experience, and then that piece wanted to experience, and then it just grew from there. But yeah, and that's why they're called a twister. It's not a bad thing that it's twisted. I mean, it needed to twist so it wouldn't be a circle anymore, because a circle cannot touch itself. But
True.
so
And
we
and we
all,
were supposed to have duality. You can't experience yourself without duality. Things got screwed up. We talked about
yeah,
that last week. But you have to have duality. My inner knowing, and I guess through my personal astral and etheric experiences, is no matter where you incarnate, if you're in a physical body, and I don't care if you're outside of this universe or you're on another planet, you're going to experience physicality, and it's going to have some level of duality. If you're not in a physical body and you're just pure energy, pure energetics, then you're a free spirit. That's we call free spirits. You're
yeah,
free to do as you want, and you're not in any kind of physicality, and so there is no duality. You're just energy. But if you want to experience another planet or another dimension, or and you step into any kind of physicality, well, then you're connected more to that infinity loop, and you're going to have some kind of polarity. Certainly not like it is here, but you're going to have some.
yeah. The thing with here is that, and the sideways infinity loop versus the upright one, is that the sideways one, if you think of source as a big infinity loop spread out with a bunch of little infinity symbols coming off of that and coming off like the flower of life. Imagine one part of it at the end is tilted or like knotted. That's kind of what happened here. It's been uh, affected so that it's manipulated, so that it's difficult to untie it on its own.
Exactly. Well, we've had four 26,000 year cycles, and we're beginning the fifth, or you can say, we're beginning the first all over again. It's the same thing. It's the new Genesis. We're fifth time around the block. But after the first 26,000 year cycle, school was over, and then the Golden Gate would open, and you would leave. with the beginning of the next golden age, with the next, the next grade, the next school system. And that didn't happen because it kept getting worse. And there were 4 Atlantises. And you hear all these different stories. It's like, and I'll say to my friends, which Atlantis you're talking about, because we all have genetic memory from all 4. And when the second one started, because no one left, people could not exit reincarnation. So when you went around to begin the second 26,000 year cycle, the supposed golden age wasn't as golden as it was supposed to do. It was, and then the third one was even less golden. And the fourth one, things were good for them then, a lot better than they are now, but it certainly wasn't as good as the first golden age. The Golden Gate never opened for those cycles because things were manipulated. So that knowledge, the only knowledge that we had about the upward infinity loop was it was the 8. And
Yeah.
And even in mathematics, when in all of my calculus and my high math classes that I took in college, it was always sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And I never understood why. I didn't agree with it. But, I went with it. When in Rome, you do as the Romans do. But that's why the information, the secrets of infinity, no one kept it secret from us. It's just that we never used it. The true Golden Gate never opened. The upward infinity symbol was never activated, and it is now. It's working now, so people can leave if they choose.
That's right. And the challenge now is to do the inner work, to reactivate the DNA and to correct that energy flow through your body. And on that note, I've seen the number 144 repeated over and over, all over the place. And I see 144 kilobyte file size things when I'm working. I see it's 1:44 p.m. I see just randomly all over the place. And I'm like, what the heck does that mean? I'm like, is it 144,000 angels of Israel? What is that? Well,
and she's not kidding. I have to jump in here because she's kind of making it sound like, we all see, 888 or not 888. I see 888, but I not on my clock, but but we all see 111 or 911 or whatever. Andrea, it's hilarious. The 144 has just been, since we've been doing this research and even a little bit before it, crazy amount of times this girl has seen 144. So she's downplaying that part. So
yeah,
I had
you
to
have
jump
144 emails. It is you have 144,000 emails. You have 100.
I know.
File size. Oh, this movie is 144 minutes long.
We
all
would
the
be
time.
on the phone for 1 hour and 44 minutes so many times when I talked to you.
Yeah, exactly. It was popping up all over the place.
All over the place. So I'll mute again. Go ahead.
And so, it's clearly my higher self was trying to bonk me on the head and get me to focus on that number. And finally, I realized it was related to the infinity symbol and to correcting the energetic template of the human body. And we need to do that. It's our bodies. We own our bodies. Yes, the earth gave us the material, but she gave it to us for us to use. And so we own what's in there. And another one of my dreams, I was shown a human light body facing me. And when it turned sideways, it expanded into 12 layers of 12 luminous bodies. And the 144, I'm like, 12, 144, all of these signs, I finally realized they point to our DNA and the new 12-strand DNA that we need to repair. The infinity symbol represents DNA. And there are 144 double helix strands in 12-strand DNA. And on a side note, I also, besides the 144 showing up all the time, on my front window, I've mentioned this before, but on the front window of my dining room has turned pink. The sun shined on it, and just that one window has turned kind of a magenta color, very clearly a magenta color. And in that window is etched, it looks like a chain link or a human spine. And I finally realized that that is a DNA strand that I'm seeing. It's like a infinity symbol, infinity symbol, infinity symbol, infinity symbol, like next, right up, and like Jinx, it could be a spine also. That's related, and it's basically a DNA strand. So that's like, hello, fix the DNA. That's the main thing. We need to focus on correcting our templates so that we can participate with this new energy that's coming in with this golden age. Our bodies are prepared to house more of our spirit and to participate with these higher frequencies. So we've got the 12-strand DNA. And in episode 10 of our show, Rising Frequencies, I had an experience where I saw my own DNA strands as interlinked infinity symbols, and they stood up. They were laying down as like the sideways lemniscate does. There were all these strands laying down, and they stood up. They were golden. They all stood up, 12 of them, and they started intertwining around each other in beautiful golden energy, repairing themselves and activating. It began at my root chakra and went all the way up to my crown and actually out through my crown and zoomed out as well. But what's happened is our energetic bodies have been knocked off balance and disconnected, and they must be repaired. We have to form this upright infinity loop of energy, traveling from the earth up through our heart, looping through the crown, up to our higher selves, and going back into the heart to the earth, and so forth.
And that's how we started. Well, not you and
yes.
I, but humanity started in the first 26,000 year cycle, which, like I said before, was four in the past. We started vertical. And then that's what's known as the fall. You can say we fell from grace, with the Luciferian rebellion, and we fell. And the Luciferian rebellion happened pre-Atlantis times, and Atlantis just made it worse. Thank you for that. But
yeah.
That was the fall. We had the upward infinity loop, and then it went to the sideways infinity loop, and that was the fall.
Yep. It represents so many things. The poison apple, the DNA strands being deactivated and falling. Some even say, I've heard this, that it represents a female body, the divine feminine, and that fell sideways.
Oh, wow, yeah.
With that hourglass figure.
Oh my gosh. That's true.
Yeah.
The fall of the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then you have the philosophical question, were we supposed to fall? Lucifer, well, it was Cal Castadine. Lucifer was a part of that merry band of fellows. But, even if the Luciferian rebellion had not happened, were we supposed to always stay connected to Source, or did we agree to pull back and to make this the most challenging place? And then we got taken advantage of, It's like, would we have fell anyway?
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that well, my feeling and inner knowing, is that we were supposed to have a bit of a veil so that we could experience duality, and we could experience contrast. And it was supposed to be difficult.
Yeah.
But I think once we were veiled, we were taken advantage of. Some other races saw these great beings kind of playing games and trying to not be themselves and learn who they were and learn who Source was. And they're like, they don't remember anything. Haha, they don't know
I know.
what creators they are. We can come in and we can sway them. We can't create ourselves, so we're going to come in and use these great creator beings to create what we want them to. And so they use mind control and all of those things and screwed up our DNA, so we'd always be stuck for ages and not creating what they wanted to create. And they use us as, when we're actually quite great beings, it's like we're a bunch of supermen and women, superheroes who, imagine if a evil guy grabbed Superman and Superman forgot what he could do and thought that the evil guy was more powerful than him and did everything that the evil guy told him to do with his super strength, worked on behalf of the evil guy. That's kind of what we've been doing as human beings. So
Yeah, I feel that we were supposed to fall, because the vertical infinity loop and the sideways infinity loop in and of themselves are polarities. One is as below and one is as above. One keeps you in as below and one lets you out to as above. So they are polarities, and they fall right in line with universal law. And you have silver and gold. I mean, silver and gold, silver and gold. There's all kinds of songs written about silver and gold. And so, I do feel there was supposed to be a fall, and we were supposed to be disconnected from Source, but not looped, in the continuous limnoscape that the upward limnoscape, the upward infinity loop, was supposed to pop in after every single 26,000 year cycle and let those out that wanted to end the roller coaster ride, and then it would close again. Taurus would guard the gate, and would guard the silver gate of men, and then when you were done after your 26,000 year cycle, and then the golden gate of the gods would open, and that's where you would exit. But yeah, we're just now getting back up on our feet.
Exactly. Yeah. So they basically, took advantage of us when we had fallen and we were down, but we had a way out. We had this key, we knew we'd eventually get out, and then we had
the golden key.
The golden key.
The golden key for the golden gate. And it's interesting because there's a saying, there's an not English Britain, but just an English saying, you take advantage of a guy when he's down.
Yeah.
But we were down but not out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They underestimate the power of humanity in our bodies.
Exactly. And humanity never gives up. That's something that's, just keep going, persist and keep getting that spark of hope back. And,
No,
we cannot be defeated.
No, we can't. The knowledge of the Golden Gate, the knowledge of the vertical infinity loop it's always been there. It's just when you have it, when you don't use it, you lose it. And we have not used this Golden Gate for 4 cycles. That's, I can't do the math, 26,000 times 4, and that's just in Earth linear time. We know that, that's time is not linear, but that's a long time. If someone could do the math, 26,000 times 4, that's how many galactic years we've had. That's a lot.
Yes.
And there are souls here, maybe even ones listening to our show whenever they actually finally tune in, that have been incarnating since the first cycle.
That's right.
And more kept coming in, Mm-hmm. But there's some that have been here since the first Atlantis, and they went through the second one, and they went through the third one, and then they went through the fourth one, and they're tired.
Yes.
They are the gods.
So it's time to get out of this sideways broken infinity loop and fix it, get it standing upright, and get out. and get it done. And Earth has been through this. Poor Gaia has been through it over and over, and it's time for her to do the same. She's ready as well, and we're
Yes.
all
And
ready to experience the golden
Bashar,
energy.
yes, woohoo! And Bashar, I like to listen to him. I am a fan of Bashar. He, in one of his talks, he was telling a story about a actual argument. Now this is Bashar. This is the entity Bashar. But Daryl Hannah was telling the story that Bashar had an argument with someone else from his reality. They were visiting his home, and he was telling them that he works with people on planet Earth, and everyone there, it's like the planet of the gods instead of the planet of the apes. We're called like the planet of the gods because all these people have completed that cycle over and over and over again, and they graduated, they just weren't allowed out. And the person was laughing, and this other individual is just laughing at Bashar, saying that's absolutely impossible. You cannot be disconnected from source so much not to know your divinity and not know how special the bodies are on that planet. And Bashar is like, they absolutely do not know, and that's the issue there.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. People don't know that they're the ones that we've been waiting for. They're the gods, return of the gods. When are the gods coming? Look in the mirror. We're here.
Look, I have an S on my shirt. It's Superman.
It's Superman.
I have Wonder Woman underoos on.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
And if you look at the S,
Sorry.
If you look at the S in Superman, what is that? Half of an infinity.
Yeah.
Half of an upward infinity symbol.
That's right.
And kryptonite, you can go. Oh,
right.
I could jump down. I had.
There's another rabbit hole.
I know, it's another rabbit hole. I had a whole lucid experience about that song. Yeah. There's so much truth.
It's what's happened to humanity.
It is.
It's the story.
It is. They were cut off. Kryptonite. When Superman can't get the energy of the sun. Same for us.
Yeah.
That's our kryptonite, not being connected to source. And Superman is not fully connected. It's just half the infinity loop. And yeah, I could go on forever. Because there's so much truth in it.
Yes. So what's so important for everyone to know is that you own every cell of your physical body, and you own all of your energetic bodies. This includes your higher chakras and any implants you have. You own those. I mean, could have been those implants could have been put into for malignant reasons, but you own them. They're in your body. You take control of them. People just don't know. They just don't realize. I actually heard a super soldier interview, and he mentioned that too, and I knew that was true. And I'm like, there we go. And he's like, oh, if you have implants, all you got to do is reprogram them. You can reprogram anything that's in your body. And I knew that. I already had known that when he said that. And also the higher chakras have been getting a bad rap by there's a few folks out there, a few teachers who are very clued in, I think, but in this area, I think they're a bit mistaken. They say the higher chakras are completely bad. They've been, there's because of the false light matrix that we've been stuck in. The higher upper chakras are fed that light, that false light, and once you raise your kundalini, you're just going to become a snake person. You're going to get all messed up and go on the wrong path and think you're enlightening yourself when you're really not. Well, the thing is, okay, that's kind of true. That there has been some shenanigans going on with the human body template, with the which is shown by the poison apple torus field, and you can but you can fix that. You need to take control and correct your upper chakras. Your upper chakras and even your reptilian brain, that's you, baby. It's part of you. You respect that reptilian brain. You know, it serves a function. And so do your chakras. You just need to know that those belong to you and just focus on correcting yourself. Focus on clearing them and cleansing them. And you need to correct that energy vortex. You take charge of it. Then don't let the false light rule you. You rule your creation. You rule what you do. You rule your consciousness. You create, become a conscious creator. And you just got to step into your power. And that is what's so important. You want to reprogram any implants. You know, if you can't get them removed, just reprogram them with your intent to work for you. You can start at the root, and we've done plenty of shows, 1 through 7, 8, however many we went through.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 was Crown, yeah?
I think.
Yeah, we went through, exercises you can do. Lisa gave a beautiful meditation to go into your heart, and that was episode 8, to help you clear and cleanse and reactivate each of your energetic centers, and you can move up and regain control as you do it. And don't stop at the heart. You need to clear those top ones. That's what's really important, because those are the most, they're screwed up in a different way. They've been manipulated. The bottom ones are screwed up with ego issues mostly. But you want to form an energetic link between your brain and your heart, so that your heart, the mind in your heart, the consciousness of your soul, is directing your life, directs your brain and your ego, which is seated in the brain. You want your ego to bow to your soul, and the two eventually merge. As Lisa said, you want to merge ego and soul, do the magnum opus, and which is the great work that the alchemists talk about. And that's also merging heaven and earth. And it's time to fix our DNA and our body templates. You will complete your own internal pole shift, and you turn that poison apple into a golden apple. And that will prepare your temple to enter the golden age through the golden gate, the golden lemnos gate.
And I want to touch on implants. And, I kind of promised myself I wouldn't go down the rabbit hole after last week's show, but I gotta. Because this is something that should be talked about. When I very first heard about etheric and astral and physical implants, I thought it was ridiculous. It was in 2008. I was in mystery school and I was learning about this information, and I just thought it was the stupidest thing. And it wasn't until direct experience later, actually in 2009, that my tune changed. Once you experience something, you learn about it. And then I started reading more written literature about other people that were having the exact same experiences that I was having. And they're implants that aren't in your physical body. Yes, they can be, but mostly it's in your astral body, and it's in your etheric body, and your energetic bodies is where this gunk, these things can get stuck in there, either intentionally put in or non-intentionally put in. And they vibrate at a certain frequency, and they aren't high vibrating. And when you raise your frequency, they automatically turn off. That's why it's like they're in you. You gave consent for them. I'm sure it was coerced, but still, they're yours. And as you raise your frequency, they just automatically shut off. And if you want to turn them off before your frequency is higher, all you have to do is be aware of it and just take your consent away. That's it. It's so simple. And you can hold some crystals when you do it, and it's not a big deal. So I don't want people to, whenever you talk about something like that, it automatically throws people into fear, and that's just because they aren't educated on it. They haven't been taught these things in the unseen realms, because most people only think the realm that they can physically see, their computer in front of their face, that's my reality, and that's the only reality that's there. And that's not true. That's very unbalanced. If your only reality is your physical reality, that's very unbalanced, because you have the astral reality, which is a energetic level, and that vibrates at a certain level, and then you have the etheric reality. You can leave your physical body and your astral body and go in the astral realm. Then you can leave your physical body and go to the etheric realm. It's a different energetic body at that point, and it vibrates higher. And then there's a third location, and I've been to, and I just call it the spiritual realm, and it's very high vibrating, and you wear a different energetic body for that. That's where these little cooties you can pick up, but they're not a big deal. They aren't. They're very very easy to turn off. It's like popping a pimple on your physical body. It's just everybody knows how to do that in the physical, and no one taught you how to do it with your energetic body, because no one wanted you to know. And it's not woohoo. It's just life. You have an energetic body and you have a physical body. You got to clean both. You have to get rid of the pimples in your physical body, and you have to get rid of the pimples in your energetic body.
Exactly. And as a note, something also that I think is important to say, and this came to me a while ago, but it was reiterated when I was having a chat with someone this morning. Higher frequency trumps lower frequency. The higher your frequency, the faster you are vibrating, and the faster the oscillation rate is. So if you look at a wave, higher frequency waves are, boom, 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 boom. A lot of little waves all together. Lower frequency, there's a wider wave pattern, with fewer waves, and they're longer. Now, why would higher frequency trump lower frequency or be stronger than lower frequency? Simply because there's more consciousness in higher frequency. There are more waves. There's more there. You're bigger. You're stronger. You're more conscious. You're more of everything. More source is in a higher frequency being, and at a higher frequency. So when you are raising your vibration, you are becoming more. You're becoming more of your higher self. You're becoming more God. You're bringing more source into your body. And the higher frequency bumps out the lower frequency, or it raises it, which, if it can be raised, it will, say you have a person, a highly evolved soul that incarnates into a family of lower evolved souls. And that happens a lot. It had happened when the folks, the indigos came, the ones that, well, it depends on what your definition of indigo is, but the light waves that Dolores Cannon talks about, a lot of those folks came in order to raise the vibration of the planet. And what they did was they were higher vibrating beings. They were able to get their bodies vibrating higher when they got to the planet. And so they would be a higher vibrating being surrounded by lower vibrating beings, and they would impact the vibration of all the folks around them. And they had trouble fitting in, because those people were like, why are you different? You're not the same as us. Are you better? Are you? And so the higher vibrating being would irk the lower vibrating beings, but they would also anchor more light and raise the level of, bother that the waves would interfere with the lower vibrating beings and push them away if they couldn't handle it, or the lower vibrating beings would have to raise their vibration to be in the presence, because that's the way it works. And so that's why the higher you vibrate and the more you raise your frequency, the more you cleanse and purify, those implants, they can't function. You can control them, because they're just not as powerful. Lower vibrating things are not as powerful as higher vibrating things.
True.
So there you go.
And that's why, I hate when they always talk about the indigo children, the crystal children.
Right.
There are so many indigo adults. There are so many crystal adults, and I hate those stupid labels. It's all about vibration and frequency. That's all it is. Throw away those labels. There are certain people, and I'm sure every single person that listens to this is you are one of those people, whether you have woken up to it or not. You are one of the people that came here to not only raise the vibration of the planet, but to raise the vibration of the people around you. That's why so many of the quote, air quotes, indigo adults were born into crappy family situations because they chose it so that they could raise the vibration of those around them, because it has to be done, and you need really high vibrating souls to do that. And so there were so many 7 million people on this planet, and I would have to say 90% is very low vibrating. And so we need more vibrating, high vibrating souls just to ping off the 100 monkey theory, which we're doing marvelously, because the vibration of the planet is really increasing to the point that these lower vibrating people are just not going to be able to keep up. Go as Gaia going. Go as Gaia's going. I just spit on my own words. And whether these low vibrating people like it or not, they need to keep up. And that was the job of these high vibrating souls, was to ping off with the 100th monkey. But there's a time limit for everything. And Gaia's going, and not everyone's going with her, and that's the sad truth. But it's a fact. It's a fact. There, in 2008, I was given this vision of I saw Gaia as a animal, and I saw humanity as like little fleas. And I'm not being mean or anything, but I'm just describing what was given to me. Little fleas on her. And I saw her just growing and growing with this magnificent light, and just vibrating and vibrating so high that these little fleas could no longer stay on her. And because the higher you vibrate, it shakes more. She just shook them off. She just shook them off. Now, they just didn't die. They went to a different location, but they did not proceed with her. And that was before I knew anything about 2012. In 2008, I didn't know about the shift of the ages. I didn't know any of that stuff. I was a newbie, a new age. I've never been a new age person, and I had zero information about the new age, but that was what I saw. And it wasn't until later that I started studying the books, and I was like, wow, okay, so yeah, that is how it works. And I wanted to, there's a really cool thing you could do this really helped for me to understand vibration and how it works, and with these frequencies. If you get out a piece of paper and you draw a straight line, and that line is absolute truth, total, equality, equator, right down the center of the planet, the dead middle, the middle pillar. That's where everyone should be, the middle pillar of their truth. That's your central column of chi, prana. And so that's going sideways. And if you take a line at the bottom, or take your pen and put it at the bottom of the line, and you're going to draw and go straight up, and like a very gentle roller coaster, make a great big loop, and then keep going down, and just make these waves very, very big. That's a low frequency. So when you have 7 million people that are at a low frequency, you can see how often they touch God, that they touch the absolute truth. And it's not very often. So that's why, when people are asleep and you have low vibrating people and they're clueless, well, this is why. This is why you have to do your chakra work. And this is how you know thyself. You have to touch yourself. You have to touch divinity, which is that straight line. That's the absolute truth. That's how you know yourself. Now, that's low vibrating. If you take your pen and at the bottom of that line draw a second line and take a very short roller coaster ride, and it goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, that's a high frequency. And look at how that's moving. How many times does that high frequency line touch source, touch the middle pillar, touch the equator? A lot. Exactly. And that's a higher consciousness. When you say someone has a high frequency, they have a higher consciousness. They have more inner knowing. They have more clairvoyant abilities. They're awake, and that's because they are touching the divine. Aristotle, Da Vinci, Plato, Copernicus, Giordano Bruno. I could go on and on with the greats. They were all high frequency. Our Tesla, and they would touch absolute truth frequently because their frequency was high. And these little cooties that you can pick up, implants, they're on that low to medium wave. And when you vibrate really high, you shake it off. Just shake it off. Just be gone.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just simple science.
Yeah, so that's the whole deal. That's why we raise our vibration, to correct our templates, to correct our energetic streams, and so that we can get through the Golden Gate and to
connect
get
with
off
source.
Yeah, connect with source. Get off this merry-go-round.
Yeah. I had a lucid dream about that too.
Oh, wow.
I saw all these people on a merry-go-round. They were just going around and around. And there you could either go around and around, or you had a choice to go and be shot off into oblivion.
Wow.
It was it was one of my nightmarish lucid dreams. It was not pleasant at all. But I have it written down in my journal. I mean, there was deep meaning in it at the time. It was before things were really corrected. Golden Gate certainly was not open.
Right. And now, and something else we discussed is, we're on a positive timeline, we're on an ascension timeline, but we're on an organic timeline as well. That's something that's important to say.
Yeah, because last week's show we wanted to emphasize it's a positive timeline. And I read an article that, the whole premise of this article was it's organic, and I just had a huge light bulb aha moment, and I'm like, yes, it's organic, it's natural, it's pure, it's no chemicals added, all those other, possible timelines that we were on were full of crap, and they weren't organic and natural, and there's nothing more natural than source. And the upward infinity loop, the Golden Gate, that's the natural, organic way to ascend, and planetary ascension or personal ascension, because they're both separate. But I like the word organic. I don't like the word positive timeline anymore, because it gets, yes, we're in duality, but organic is just natural. It's just the way it's supposed to be.
It's the living timeline, and not the dead timeline, not the false light matrix or the false light ascension plan. It's organic. And that woman, let's give her credit. Her name's Michelle Wallach.
I don't know. It's isn't it the Exit the Matrix website?
In 5D.
Yes, but she has I think her Facebook page is Exit the Matrix, and she's now working with Greg Prescott in 5D. And she's banging out some amazing articles, and I'm telling you, there's I feel like I've written them. I've I usually don't resonate with a lot of people's writings, because I don't know I don't know where they're getting their information. If you don't get your information from experience, it's like, well, where are you pulling this stuff from? Oh my gosh, it's just crazy town out there
Yeah.
nowadays, guys. On the internet, you really have to use your discernment. There's been a couple things where I'm like, that wasn't my experience on the astral, but I don't know everything. But she's great.
Mm-hmm.
I fully support her work. It's like, you go, girl. We need more people out there sharing information. That includes
Yeah.
people listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
girly.
yeah.
Oh, someone. Yeah, we have 9 listeners. we we don't advertise when we record, so it's really cool that people just happen to
Drop in.
to drop in. I am going to be doing a live webinar on essential oils. Oh gosh, what was the date we picked? I think it was April 15th.
Yes, April 15th.
April 15th, and it will be at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time, and it's going to be on essential oils, how to use them, and all kinds of information. I've been studying them for since 2009. Long time.
Yeah.
A long time, but we don't announce when we're recording, so it's really cool that people are listening. And someone wrote in the chat, cosmic star seeds. I think that's what they wrote, and that's 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100. Everybody that listens to this call is a cosmic star seed, no doubt.
That's right.
No doubt, and God bless them.
Yeah. Well, we're doing it. People are correcting that they're better than anyone expected. Earth is really, I mean, the new energy is coming in, and she is rising every day. The Earth, Gaia, is rising,
And it is rising because
and we are on her body still,
and we
which
are
is
on
fabulous.
her body. And if you're on the sideways infinity loop, we rose to the upward infinity loop, to the Golden Gate. So we did. We rose up. Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool indeed. Okay, girly, you have anything else you want to add? We can call it a night.
I don't think I have anything else. We've said it all for this show.
For this show, that is true. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to Rising Frequencies. And good night, good day, and we hope you join us next time.
Yes, everyone have a great afternoon, evening, morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.